So, Kal Kadosh Boker Tov, we're going to be continuing with Daf Mem Gimel Amud Aleph, 43A1. Okay, 43A1. So, and Daf 43A1, it's brought down. We're going to first start just on the, bottom where we had a machloke between Rabbi Zera and Rabbah. And we said Rabbi Zera did not say, why didn't he say like Rabbah? Why doesn't he hold like Rabbah that he permits? Right? Because at the end of the day, there was mechitzot during the day, meaning there was walls around it. So he says, mechitzot, on the top, the mechitzot on the boat is only just to make sure that water doesn't come onto the boat. So that's the only reason. So therefore, it's not enough in order to make it important that you're going to be able to carry from within it. But Rabbah, and according to Rabbah, why didn't he hold like Rabbi Zera? Because it says the Gemara, if the boat is actually traveling according to everybody, nobody, right? Everyone's going to say that you're allowed to go in the entire boat. When is the machloket? Be'amda, if the boat stopped. And therefore, since it stopped, and now you're going to be koneh, the 4 amot, so then again, according to Rabbi Yeshua, you're not allowed to go outside of the 4 amot. And according to Rabbi Gamliel, you're allowed to travel the entire boat. Okay? Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, says Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, Matniti nami daika, you could also do this from the Mishnah. That if the boat is traveling, there's no machloket. Mimai, how do we know this? Miniktani, because, right, from the fact that we learned Masechta Eruvin, there was a story that the Chachamim came from this place called Plandarsin. Okay? And on Shabbat, their boat traveled more than 2,000 amot. So it traveled outside of the Tchum. They were traveling the entire boat. They didn't move outside the 4 amot. Why? They wanted to be machmir on themselves. So says the Gemara, if you're going to tell me that there's no machloket when they're actually traveling, that they wanted to be machmir on themselves. Dilma amda, right? Because then it comes out that maybe bemet it stopped, and they're not going to pay attention, and then they're going to become prohibited immediately. But if you're going to tell me that it's also machloket even if it's traveling, so what is ratzula ichmir? Isura, what's an Isura according to their Shita? According to the Shita of Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Kiva, it should be an Asur for them. Not that they wanted to be machmir on themselves. Okay? So he says, Amar Ravashi says, Matniti nami daika, you could also deduce it from the Mishnah. Iktani sfina dunya de dir v'asar. Because we said that the sfina is comparable to the dir v'asar. Remember, the dir v'asar was like a barn or whatever it is. I forgot the names that they said there, which is basically for the animals to live, but one one's in the field and one of them is like in the barn, in the houses. So it says, Madir Vesar the Kviyas, it's just like it has to be fixed. So to the Sfina, it has to be something fixed. It has to be Kviyah. Okay? So Amale Ravacha Bered Rava Ravashi. Says Ravacha Bered Rava to Ravashi. Hilchata Kam Gamliel Besfina. Alacha Zaykam Gamliel in the Sfina to do the boat. Okay? Hilchata. So it says the Gemara, the Alacha, it's mashma to be called the Pliga. So obviously somebody argues. So it says the Gemara, yes. But Tanya, we learned in the Braita, Chananya Omer Chananya says, Kol oto hayom yashvu v'danu b'dvar halacha. The entire day, they were sitting down and they were judging in the halachot. Emesh, and they said, yesterday, yesterday, right, Rabbi Yeshua went and he said, halacha zakam gamliel in the sfina. Halacha Rabbi Akiva b'dir v'sar, and the halacha zakam Rabbi Akiva in dir v'sahar. So it comes out that there is a machloket tanaim to do with the sfina, to do with the boat. Okay, that's what we're trying to bring a proof, that there was a machloket to do with the boat. Okay, fine. So now we learned in other different places that the Reshut Rabim in a Carmelit, right, it's only until 10 Tfachim, and above that was a Makom Ptur. You remember that? Remember, Reshut Yechid goes up to the sky, but Reshut Rabim or a Carmelit, public domain or a Carmelit, it's only until 10 Tfachim, 80 centimeters. Above that, it's Makom Ptur. So now says the Gemara is now going to come and say, does Dinet Chumim also, right, work until 10 Tfachim or not? Which means, would it be mutar to go out of the tchum above 10 tvachim? Or if somebody's already above 10 tvachim at the top of, on the onset of Shabbat, so does it now happen that it's like as if to say that he only starts the 2,000 amot when he comes down? Obviously nowadays a big nafkamina would be if a person's on a plane. Yeah, he's way above, the 10 tvachim. So says the Gemara, by Rav Chananya, so Rav Chananya comes and asks the question, is there tchumim above the 10 tvachim? Or not. So Amud Gavoa Asara v'Rachav Arba. So I'm going to share the screen with you so you see it. Here. Amud Gavoa Asara ve'eno Rachav. it's not this one. This is the next one. Gavoa Sara v'rachav. Okay, so this one's less than 4 tfachim. It's 10 tfachim tall, but pretend that this is 4 tfachim wide. So lo tibay lecha is not a question. Te'ara smichtai, but then it comes out that this is considered like the ground. Right? Why? But since you could actually walk on it, and so you're not allowed to go outside of the tchum, so therefore, obviously, we're not talking about such a case. When is the case? This one, this picture. Be'amud gavoa Sara, but it's not rachav arba. It does not have 4 tfachim width, okay, which is 32 centimeters width, okay? Inami, or the kazil b'kvitza. Another case is that you're jumping, okay? That basically you're using one of the names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's what it says over here. And you're jumping from one place to another. Or another explanation. Besfina. Yeah, or sfina. What do you mean by sfina? Right, you're on a boat. What's halacha? Is there tchumim above the 10 tfachim or not? So Amar Rav. Okay, this is already Daf Yomi, so that's it. Okay, so Amar Rav. Rav Oshaya says Rav Oshaya. Tashima, we're going to bring a proof. Masechet they came from Pasadon. If you go to the Dam and they came on the boat, they came from outside of the tchum. If you're going to tell me that there is tchumim above, so that's why Ratzu. They wanted to be machminim on themselves. But if you're going to tell me that there's no tchumim above 10 tfachim, so why do they want to be machmin on themselves? Anyway, there's no problem whatsoever. Sorry. So it answers the Gemara. Like Rava says, we're talking about that the person that they were going in a boat, but that the water was very, very shallow. So since it was very, very shallow, right, what happened is that it's going to be less than 10 tfachim, less than 80 centimeters, right? It could happen. Depends what type of boats, obviously. Even nowadays, right, if you go on the fancy boats, they'll tell you, they have like this, the picture of the sea, and they'll tell you, this is how many, whatever it is, feet deep, and this is how many, and you already know how deep is yours. So, it measures it and tells you how much, how much space you have in between, and it depends on the motors. Like, it depends on a lot of different things, okay? So it says, Ma'alecha berakach. So to here, we're talking about the Ma'alecha berakach, and therefore, obviously, there is going to be tchumin according to everybody. Tashima, we're going to bring another proof now. And once happened that they didn't go into the namal, into the port, until it became dark time. If you're going to tell me that there is tchumin, so then that's going to be okay. But if you're going to tell me that there's no tchumin, what do they care? Because they said that they weren't in the tchum. Anyway, there's no tchumin. So therefore, if there was no tchumin, then what's the problem? They're going to come inside, and now there's no problem. So Amarava, the same answer. Tashima, another third different type of a proof. Hani shev shmateta, right? This 7 braitot, right? The itamram betzafra b'Shabbat kamid Rav Chasta. They were said in the morning of Shabbat in front of Rav Chasta b'Sura and Sura. The hadepani b'Shabbata, and then it was to do the same Shabbat in front of Rava b'Pumbedita. Man amninu, who was the one that came and they said it? Now from Sura to Pumbedita, there's more than 4,000 amot. So even through a Ruvet Chumim, a person cannot go there. So how could it be that they went from Surah to Pumbedita on Shabbat? So who was the one that said it? Lav Eliyahu, obviously it had to be Eliyahu Navi. So Alma, so you see from here, that in Tchumin Alma Sarah. Eliyahu Navi, he flies. So since he flies in the air, obviously there's no Tchumin above the 10 Tfachim. Because obviously it had to be Eliyahu Navi, that he went from Surah to Pumbedita. It was more than 4,000 amot. So no matter what type of an Eruv Tchumin you did, you can never physically get there. So how did you do it? So says the Gemara, no. Dilma Yosef Shidamrinu. Maybe it was the Shed Yosef. There was a demon that his name was Yosef. Or they said no, or there was another person that he wasn't Shomer Shabbat and they called him Yosef Ashed. Right? Either or. So basically, either it was a demon or a person that's not Shomer Shabbat. And that's why they called him the Shed, the demon. Right? Whichever one you want to choose, but basically he was the one that said it because he said it on 2 different times. Okay? Tashima, another proof from Braita. Hareni Nazir Bayom Sheben David Ba. Imagine a person accepts upon himself to become a Nazir the day the Mashiach comes. Yeah? So he says, 1 second. So every single day, he shouldn't do anything. Well, he shouldn't cut his hair or drink wine. Why? Maybe Mashiach's going to come today, and then he has a problem. Yeah? But it says, but he's only allowed to, for sure, to come and to drink, right? Or to become Tamemet or all these things on Shabbat and Yom Tov. Why? Because we know that on Shabbat and Yom Tov, Mashiach does not come. Yeah? Mem Gimel Amud Bet, right? 43b. However, though he's not allowed to drink wine, the entire weekday, because maybe Mashiach is going to come. So you're going to tell me Tchumin. That's why Shabbatot Yom Tovim it's going to be permitted. Because basically, since Mashiach is going to come from such a far away, he can't come on Shabbat and Yom Tov. Yeah, so how's he going to be over on Yisur Tchumin? Okay, so Elei Yamar, but if you're going to tell me now, in Tchumin, that there's no Tchumin above 10 Tfachim, so then why can't the Mashiach come on Shabbat and Yom Tov? So my mutar, was it permitted? And so the Gemara, Shani Atam is different over there. It's written in Namarkan, Ina Nochi Sholech Lechem et Eliyan Avi, Lifnei b'yom Adonai v'agadol v'nura v'eshiv levavot amanim v'lev manim alavot. Right, V'hai lo ata Eliyahu means more. It comes out that it says there in Malachi, I'm going to send you Eliyan Avi, which is Eliyahu Navi. If you remember, they took away the Vav from Eliyahu and they put it to Yaakov Avin. Right, that's why Yaakov in one place has the Vav. Okay, Lifnei b'yom Hashem agadol v'nura, which means that he's going to come, right? It's Yom Hashem agadol v'nura, which means that Eliyahu did not come from yesterday. On Erev Shabbat and Yom Tov, nobody mentioned it. So ever since he didn't mention it, how's it going to come on Shabbat and Yom Tov? Okay, because he has to tell us beforehand. Okay, which means that they're going to tell us that Mashiach is going to come, and then he's going to come the next day. So says the Gemara, Yachi, if so, Bechol Kol Yom Yom Anami. So then I should be able to permit to this guy to drink wine every single day as well, to cut his hair. Why? Right? If nobody told us the Mashiach's coming, so what's the problem? If anyway, somebody's going to tell us. So even I'm going to cut my hair now. So I'm going to cut my hair, and they're going to tell me in 10 minutes, but it's not coming today. It's coming tomorrow. So therefore, what's the problem? Yeah? So says the Gemara, Lishe should be permitted. He didn't come from yesterday. But rather he came to the Bet Din HaGadol in Yerushalayim. Hachanami, so to here. So to maybe he came to Bet Din HaGadol. So says the Gemara, no. He says, you know why? Mashiach will never come, not only on Shabbat and Yom Tov, also not on Erev Shabbat or Erev Yom Tov. He says, why? Because of Torach. In order that at the end of the day, we're going to have to come out, we're preparing for Shabbat, we're preparing for Yom Tov. We're not going to have the time to start preparing to visit, to see the Mashiach. So because of that, that's why it's going to be permitted on Shabbat in itself. Which means the fact that on Erev Shabbat, they didn't tell us. Now, why didn't they tell us? Because it could not come on Erev Shabbat. So therefore, right, that's why you're allowed to do it on Shabbat in itself. So the fact that Eliyahu didn't come, so Mashiach's not going to come. So it's also permitted not only on Shabbat and Yom Tov, also on Erev Shabbat. So it says, no, Eliyahu Navi is not going to come, but Mashiach could come. The Kevin Dati Mashiach, but once Mashiach comes, Hakol Avadim in Israel, all the Umot Olim, all the Goyim, become our servants. Okay, and they're going to do our preparations for Shabbat. So imagine they say, Mashiach is here, that's it. Goy, come here, prepare this, prepare that, the plata, everything for me. I don't have to do anything. Bechad b'Shabbat yishtere. So says the Gemara, so why don't you permit it on Sunday? Yeah, but maybe the Mashiach will come on Sunday. It says, Liv Shomina den Tchumin. So from there, we could also say, En Tchumin Lamala. But if you're going to tell me there's Tchumin Lamala, you should permit it on Sunday. Because Eliyahu Navi is not going to come on Shabbat. So if Eliyahu Navi doesn't come on Shabbat to tell us that it's coming tomorrow, so on Sundays, we should be fine. So it says the Gemara, no. This Tana has a doubt whether there is Tchumin above or below, right, or above or not. And therefore, that's why he goes Lechumra. Okay? Fine. Interesting what's halacha l'maaseh. Okay, let's go. So says the Gemara, so which day did he make the neder to become a Nazir? If he was during the weekday, since he becomes the Nazirut, so then 1 second. How is it going to come Shabbat now, and now it's going to permit him to eat? Obviously, there can't be the explanation. But rather it's Shabbat, and he made the neder now. Right? Of Yom Tov or Yom Tov, and he made the neder. But that day it's going to be permitted for him. But then from then onwards, it should become always prohibited for him. And even on Shabbat and Yom Tov, because maybe the Shabbat, Mashiach is going to come beforehand. And then again, you're going to have the Nazirut, and it's not going to take it out. Right? So that's why he says, you're right. That's what's going to happen. Okay, fine. Next. פעם אחת, לא נכנסו לנמל. So once happened that they didn't go into the namal until nighttime. So Rav Gamliel said, well, we're going to go down. He told them it's permitted. Why? Because we were within the tomb before Shabbat. So Tana, shvoferet הייתה לו Rav Gamliel, he had a shvoferet, שהמביב צופה ב2,000 אמה ביבשה. נגדה 2,000 בים. So basically it was like binoculars. Right? The old binoculars, it was a kaneh chalul that used to look through it. They were able to see 2,000 amot. So they were able to see 2,000 amot on dry land or 2,000 amot on the sea. So because of that, they were able to see it. Okay? Somebody wants to see how deep is the valley. It's going to bring a shoferet, right? Then he's going to see how deep it is, the valley. You want to find out how tall is a dekel, is a tree, a palm tree. You're going to measure his own koma, the tzilo, and the tzel of the dekel, the tzel komato, and the tzel of his koma. Then he's going to find out. Oh.
How is he going to figure that out? What depends the time of the day. The tzel is going to be different.
Oh, wow. He's going to check his height with his tzel, and then the tzel how do you call it? The tzel of the tree. So it doesn't matter how, meaning whatever is going to happen to him is going to have as a parameter, right? So it doesn't matter. So if it's let's say 12 o'clock, the same thing that will happen with his tzel, with his shade, will happen with the shade of the dekel. So whatever it is, in proportion, that's how you know how taller it is. If a person wants that there should not be a chaya in one of these tzel of a kever, of a tombstone. You're going to put a reed in the 4th hour in the day. Okay, that was very, very hot. And therefore what happens is, right, they want to come to the tzel. Then you're going to see which direction does the tzel go. Then put it to the wall, right, in a way that there's not going to be tzel whatsoever. So for once there's not going to be tzel, no chayot are going to come that way. Interesting. Okay. Basically, by putting the shade, no animal is going to come there. So you put a reed, you're going to see which direction does when it's very, very hot, you're going to see which direction does the shade go, build a wall there, and then there's not going to be any shade. By doing that, that's it. You get rid of any wild animals coming. Once happened, he was very, very deep. Nehemiah, the son of Chanilai, in his limud, and he went outside of the tomb. Make him mechitza of people, and then he could go inside. So they made like a mechitza, and then he was able to come inside with human beings. So Yated Nachman bar Yitzchak Ochre de Rava, Nachman bar Yitzchak came, he was behind Rava, Yated Rava came in Nachman, he was coming in front of Nachman. Amal Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak Rava, comes of Nachman bar Yitzchak Rava, Maikam by Leil Chasa, what was he asking? Ilema b'damalu gavre askin, and if you're going to tell me that we're talking about that it was just enough people that they made a mechitza until the tomb, and we were asking, does Rav Chasa actually hold like the halacha, like Rav Gamliel, that he permits a person, like somebody came outside of the tomb, that he could come back inside as long as it's going to be mukaf, so it's going to be permitted? Or en halacha Rav Gamliel, right? Memdalad Mudalef on the top, 44a on the top, or the halacha is not like Rav Gamliel, right? But rather like Rav Yeshua Rav Akiva, that they said that he only has arba amot. Or Dilma, or maybe the lo malu gavreskin. We're talking about that there was not enough people. The Kambales, then we had the question, halachas like Rabbi Eliezer, that somebody that came outside of the tomb, if he didn't go more than 2 amot outside of the tomb, he's allowed to come back inside. And then, right, Nehemiah said that you put the mechitzot until 2 amot, and then he's allowed to come back inside. Or the halachas not like Rabbi Eliezer, but rather the chachamim that argue on him, and therefore that if he was only up till 2 amot outside of the tomb, he still cannot come inside. So like when I was going to say, pshita lo skin is enough people. Isal kadaita, as if you're going to tell me, as if you're going to tell me that there was enough people. What's the question? Hamarav Rav said the lachaz Rav Gamliel b'divrei Safra, but rather for sure there was not enough people, and the question was in shitat Rabbi Eliezer. And we continue tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.